Hello, my friend, and thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much for continuing to listen, for being here, for spending your precious time with me on this podcast. I am truly honored. Thank you. I'm your host, Ingrid Thompson, and my business is Healthy Numbers. I am on a mission to teach every business owner to understand how money works in their business. I know, massive goal. Hey, this is so super important to me and for you because when you understand how money works in your business, your life changes completely and forever. You make more money in your business, and importantly, not just more revenue, you make and keep more profit, and you start paying yourself the salary you deserve. Imagine that. How does that sound? And if you'd like to work with me directly to learn the financial framework I use for all my clients, my new Accelerate Your Business Financial Confidence starts next month. We'll tackle the 3 greatest challenges most business owners face when it comes to understanding how money works in their business. So if you are sick of not making enough money or not making enough profit and not paying yourself what you deserve, take a look at www.healthynumbers.com.au/money. It's not a sales page, there's no tacky countdown timers, it just explains some of the models and the information about the Accelerator program. I'm here to help you, and this podcast has been made just for you. So let's get into today's episode. Nothing happens until you decide. This is about mindset, and this week I heard a terrific expression: throw your backpack over the wall. And it's attributed to William Hutchinson's Murray, and he was a Scottish explorer and who loved to climb mountains. He loved being in the mountains, and as you can imagine, in Scotland there are amazing mountains. I love being in the mountains. The air is always different. I love the beach too, but the mountains are special. All right, so let's set some context for today. So I want to talk about this idea of throwing your backpack over the wall. But let's start with a description of what I call the 2 futures. So imagine a blank page. Maybe you have a blank page there or a blank whiteboard. On the left-hand side, in about the middle, you draw a small circle using a blue pen. And in that circle, we write today. Using the same blue pen, we draw an arrow straight across the page, and at the end of the arrow, we write the future. Now, one thing we know, that time is going to pass. The future will be here, whether the future is next week, next month, or 5 years' time. So that future is going to happen. Now imagine you're drawing this diagram and you take a red pen and you're going to draw a curved line starting from that blue circle today, and the line is going to curve down to the bottom right-hand corner of your page. It's going to fall away like a rainbow. It's going to fall down, sort of go along the blue line a little way, and then it's going to fall down. This is the future where we start today and there's a drift, where we go down and we end up worse off than where we are right now. So please write drift along that line if you're drawing it with me, or imagine you have got drift written across that line. And the reason for this is that we are here today because over time there is this drift towards a future where things are worse than they are right now. So let me give you a couple of examples. There's COVID kilos. They don't arrive in one lump. You don't suddenly be 5 kilos more, but people drift towards the 5 kilos. An extra chocolate here, some more pizza, less exercise, more Netflix, PlayStation, more takeaways. And another example, let me give you another example. You forget to clean your teeth one day, that's not going to cause all your teeth to fall out. But years of not cleaning your teeth, weeks and months of not cleaning your teeth absolutely result in tooth decay and gum disease. So there's this notion of drift. So the same is true in business. And I know some of you listening want to start a business, you're thinking about it for some time, and as time passes, there's a drift towards being a year down the track and still thinking about getting started. Maybe you're already in a business and there are things that you will get to one day. Many business owners, me included, a list of projects to get to one day. And in the meantime, let's do one more course. Let's sign up for one more podcast. Let's read a few more blogs. Let's get another book out of the library. Let's buy a book off Amazon. Let's join another Facebook group. Now, today, people are finding out how to use Clubhouse. And all the while, time is ticking by, and what is happening in the business? Drift. And drift is always downwards. That's one future possibility. There's another future, and this is the future that this podcast is all about. Let's take a green pen and start at our blue circle where it says today, and let's draw a curved line heading up towards the right-hand corner. Now we have a green line, which I call the green line. Yeah, pretty imaginative, aren't we? The green line. It goes to being in a position in the future where we are actually better off than where we are now. And what I've observed is that the way to stay on the green line is by making decisions and taking actions. Making decisions and taking actions in every aspect of life. We have two choices. We can drift, or we can make decisions and take action. So we can drift along the red line downwards to a future state that is not where we are right now, or we can make decisions and take action to stay on the green line. Either way, we behave ourselves into whatever future we create for ourselves. And that brings me back to this idea of throwing your backpack over the wall. What William Hutchinson's Murray is saying is that nothing happens until you decide. Throwing your backpack over the wall is to make a decision, a huge decision. Now you have to get over that wall. You've decided, you are committed. William H. Murray has this fantastic quote, which I'm actually going to read the whole thing because I think it is really speaks to what we're talking about here. He says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favour all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man or woman, he didn't say woman in those days, he said man, could have dreamt would have come his way. And then he paraphrases Goethe's couplets, whatever you think you can do or believe you can do, begin it. Action has magic, grace and power in it. And William H. Murray uses action where Goethe's original couplet uses boldness. Boldness has magic, grace and power in it. And these are two really powerful sentences. Whatever you think you can do or believe you can do, begin it. Action has magic, grace and power in it. How many times on the podcast have we had guests who have said in regards to starting, just start, just take the action. This truly is so powerful, and I invite you to say it with me as I say it again. Action has magic, grace and power in it. If you're taking notes, write it in your notes, put it on a post-it, make it your mantra for this week. Action has magic, grace and power in it. And truly, whatever you think you can do or believe you can do, begin it. Take the action, make the decision. And this is what keeps us on that green line. Have you drawn your diagram? You imagine that diagram. Here we are today, and the green line curves out and upwards. Let's be inspired by William H. Murray. I'll just give you a brief synopsis of what happened to him. He was a prisoner for 3 years during World War II. And while in prison, he wrote a book about mountain climbing in Scotland. He wrote it on toilet paper. He'd written the whole book. And it was finished, and then the prison guards found it, and they destroyed it. And his fellow prisoners wondered how he would respond to it. They knew he would be disappointed, devastated. Do you know what he did? He just started again. He got his pens out and he got more toilet paper and he went off and he started writing the book again. It was eventually published in 1947 when he had escaped and was returned to Scotland, and he went on to write another book about climbing in the Himalayas. Action has magic, grace and power in it. If you're taking notes with your pen and paper, write it in your notes. As you know, I always like to finish the podcast with what action are you inspired to take today question. So what action am I going to encourage you to take today? The action I want you to take is around your money mindset. Money mindset is our beliefs and our attitude about money. And there's so many different aspects we could talk about this. For the past month, I've been running some live webinars about cash flow and expenses. And I also ran one talking and helping explain the concepts of Profit First, which is a book by Mike Michalowicz, explaining the principles as I've applied them in my business. If you wanted to get a copy of any of those webinars, shoot me an email, ingrid@healthynumbers.com.au, and just put webinars in the subject line and let me know which one you want. So I have future episodes of this podcast where I am actually going to talk about pricing and discounts and other technical aspects of the money mindset. So there's some actions I'm going to give you today, 3 steps from today. And the first is to actually understand, do you have enough? The question is how to calculate what is enough. Do you have enough? Do you know how to calculate enough? What is enough? People say, oh, I want to make $1 million. I want to make 6 figures. How do we arrive at this amount? Will it be enough? I was listening to this amazing wealth coach who coaches some of the absolutely richest people in the world, the top 0.0001% of the richest. And they feel like they never have enough. They go from 6 figures to $1 million, and then from $1 million to multiple millions. And then they aspire to have a B instead of an M because they want to be billionaires instead of millionaires. And they want to be on the rich lists. And then who is the richest? Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. And, who's the richest woman and who's the richest under 30. And when you're in business, what is it that you actually have? Have you calculated what is enough for you? So the first thing, step 1, is do you have enough? How much is enough for you? So this leads to the second action. How much profit do you want to make? In the webinar where I explain about the basics of profit first, where I personally in my business started with having 1% of my revenue was allocated to profit. And then I gradually increased that to 2%, and then the next increment and the next increment. So what is that profit amount for you? Action has magic, grace, and power in it. Put some time into thinking about this. Profit flows where your attention goes. Make a note of that and say that one out loud. If you're out for a walk, just say it to yourself. Profit flows where attention goes. So step 1 is how much is enough? I have enough and I am grateful for having enough. Step 2, how much profit do you want to make? Profit flows where attention goes. And now for step 3, taking action. And I'll give you an example of something that just happened in the past week. So one of the people who attended my expenses and cash flow webinar asked a question about multiple streams of income. So I was talking about the different types of accountants, and this participant said that I want to track my different streams of income, and my accountant said that's not really necessary. And now he's confused about why he would say that. So I was explaining that there's 2 types of accountants. There's a tax accountant and the tax agent. And they're reporting the income as one line to the tax office. Annual income for the business, one line. The tax office doesn't need to see the different levels of the different ways that a business earns money through their sales revenue, through their income. What are the different channels of earning money? We do want to know all the different ways that we make sales income. We want to as business owners. So after the webinar, he came back to me and he said, I've put together an Excel spreadsheet to calculate my cash flow exactly the way you described it. I've already set up a meeting with my accountant and we've identified what are the important multiple streams of income in my business. Thank you, Ingrid. Now I feel more confident to talk to my accountant about this. So he took action. He attended the webinar, he took on board the information, and he took action. So, remember that diagram, that model that we drew. The green line is about making decisions and about taking action. Nothing happens till you decide. Here we are today, that blue circle, and every day we have a choice. Every minute of every day, every hour of every day, we have a choice about which line we are going to be on. What sort of future are we creating? We behave our way into the future. I absolutely applaud you for being here listening to the podcast. So make the decision to show up, to learn ways of making decisions and taking action. If you'd like the replay, as I said, email me ingrid@healthynumbers.com.au and put webinar, put cash flow, expenses, profit first in the subject line, and I'll send you the link straight away. That's an action that you can take right now. My action every day is, who can I help today? Who else is looking for help with understanding financial in their business? We know that when we help others and we share what we have, it really changes what comes towards us. There's this whole universal energy exchange going on all the time. If you're here and listening on a regular basis, it's because you're the sort of person who knows what it's like to share your gifts, to share your wisdom, to share your expertise with your clients and with everyone. And when it comes to money, my gorgeous mum used to always say, it's made round to go round. When we think of the coins, when you think of money, it really is a means of exchange. And she always said it's made round to go round. So who can we help? How can we share our funds? How can we share our energy, our expertise, our skills in service with other people. And that's what you're doing in business. You're sharing what you have and you're being paid for it. So let's return to William's expression, throwing our backpacks over the wall. It means making your commitment. Nothing happens until you decide. And so throwing your backpack over the wall, now you absolutely have to figure out how to get over that wall. So in what way have you absolutely thrown your backpack over the wall? I'd love to hear from you. Ingrid@healthynumbers.com.au, and let me know. Or put it in the comments for wherever you're listening to the podcast. If this is something that has truly resonated with you and you know someone else who needs to hear this message right now, please share the podcast episode with them. Is it time to make the decisions that you're going to work on the money side of your business? Let's have the first part of William H. Murray's quote one more time. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. When we do something a bit half-hearted, and I'm total full disclosure here, I sometimes get a bit half-hearted about things and I think, oh yeah, I'm going to give that a go, but you know what, if it doesn't work, I've got my plan B. And you know, just last week, there were a few things that were happening and I was walking along and I was thinking to myself, oh, why am I even doing this? And then there, walking in front of me, was a man with a t-shirt on that said, never give up. And I said, thank you to the universe for just giving that to me, because the chance to draw back, that hesitancy, isn't it a beautiful word? I love the word hesitancy. That the never give up on the back of that man's t-shirt was just the reminder to me that to have a plan B is in fact hesitancy. And so when we fully decide we're going to go in, we're going to take the action, and remember, action has magic, grace and power in it. That beautiful reminder, William H. Murray's quote, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events, issues from the decision, raising one's favour, all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no one could have dreamt would have come his way or her way. The universe rushes to greet us when we make decisions, when we commit, when we throw our backpack over the wall. So let's leave today's episode with that thought and remind ourselves that action has grace and power and magic in it. We behave our way into the future. The green line is about making decisions and taking action. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. What action are you inspired to take today?